He's India's most famous political strategist, the guy behind some absolutely huge, history-making campaigns. But now, Prashant Kishor has done something completely different. He's traded those high-tech war rooms for the dusty roads of Bihar in a truly radical new experiment. And everyone is asking the same question. What is he actually up to?
All right, so here's how we're going to break this down. We'll start with the Kingmaker's paradox. Then we'll dive into his Gandhian playbook. After that, we'll talk about waking a sleeping giant and how he plans to take it from soil to silicon. And finally, we'll ask the big question, is this a whole new political grammar?
Okay, so first things first. To really get why this move is so massive, you have to understand who we're talking about. For years, Prashant Kishor was the guy, the quiet architect behind the scenes, literally reshaping Indian politics with his campaigns.
And what's just incredible, really, is the sheer range of his success. I mean, his fingerprints are all over some of the biggest, most historic victories, and for totally different opposing parties. We're talking about Narendra Modi's massive 2014 win, and then also the comebacks of some of his biggest rivals. He basically became the person you called when you absolutely, positively had to win.
And that's why, trying to compare him to some Western political strategist, it just doesn't fit. The source material puts it perfectly. It says there's no Prashant Kishor in American politics, just like there's no Amitabh Bachchan in Hollywood. It's just a different category. He's this unique hybrid, part data genius, part social reformer, part, a Gandhian walker.
So that leads us right to the big paradox, right? The central question here. After building this amazing career putting other people in power, why on earth would he start a movement and then refuse to be its candidate? It makes no sense on the surface, but the answer, it goes back a long, long way.
Okay, so here's the key. The whole strategy seems to be a modern take on Mahatma Gandhi's philosophy. It's all about choosing a totally different kind of power.
And this quote, man, it just nails it. The idea is actually pretty simple, but also radical. By refusing any official title, he gains a kind of moral authority that a typical politician just can't touch. It completely flips the script on what leadership looks like.
So let's break this down. Look at the traditional politician, right? Their legitimacy, their power, it all comes from winning an election and getting that official job title. Power flows to them from the top. But Kishor's model, totally different. He believes true legitimacy comes from the ground up. And by saying no thanks to an official position, he's sending a really powerful message. Power should flow from the people, not be held over them.
And the name of his movement says it all, Jan Suraj. It means good governance by the people. So the mission is literally in the name. This isn't about just winning the next election. No, this is way bigger. It's about trying to fundamentally re-engineer the entire system, decentralize power, use tech to make things transparent, and maybe, just maybe, bring some morality back into politics.
So where is all this happening? Where is this crazy, radical experiment taking place? Well, it's in the Indian state of Bihar, a place that, let's be honest, is often dismissed or overlooked. But the source material calls it something else, a sleeping giant.
And to get why they call it a sleeping giant, you got to look back at its history. I mean, this land was once the absolute center of Indian civilization. It had Nalanda University, basically the Oxford of the ancient world. It's where the Buddha reached enlightenment. It's where legendary emperors like Ashoka and Chandragupta ruled from. Just incredible history.
But that glorious past makes today's reality even more striking. Now, Bihar is often associated with struggle, poverty, migration. And it's that contrast, this history of incredible greatness followed by a period of decline, that really sets the stage for a comeback story. It creates this powerful narrative of, let's reclaim what we lost.
So how do you wake up a sleeping giant? Well, Kishor's method is the Pad Yatra, a massive foot march. Think about it. While other politicians are on social media or shouting on TV, he is literally walking thousands of kilometers, village by village, talking directly to farmers, students, laborers. The source kind of frames it like this. If Gandhi had his famous Salt March, maybe this is the 21st century version of that.
And this is a really crucial point. This whole thing, it's not just about getting people to vote for you. The goal is so much deeper. It's about changing how people think, rebuilding their confidence, and totally rewriting the script on how citizens and politics interact. It's like building a whole new language for politics, right from the ground up.
But
here's where it gets really interesting. This old-school, on-the-ground movement is paired with this unbelievably futuristic vision. The plan isn't just to look backward and awaken Bihar's history. It's to connect all those ancient strengths with brand-new 21st-century tech.
The thinking goes something like this. In today's world of 5G and AI, a place like Bihar doesn't have to take the slow, painful path of development that everyone else took. It can literally leapfrog over those old problems by using digital tools. It's this perfect mix of old and new. You could call it from soil to silicon. And listen, this isn't some fuzzy, far-off dream. It's broken down into real, concrete steps. Just imagine this, using satellite mapping to finally end all those endless land disputes. Once you do that, boom, you unlock credit for millions of families. Or what about using modern logistics to start exporting fruits and veggies from Bihar to places like Dubai and Singapore? And maybe the biggest one, networking all that incredible human talent to become a global digital workforce. When you hear it like that, the huge vision suddenly feels, well, possible.
So this brings us to the big picture. When you put all these pieces together, right, the Gandhian style, the walking, the high-tech vision, it becomes really clear that this is being framed as way, way more than just another political campaign. This is something else entirely.
When you get right down to it, this is about changing the story that Bihar tells about itself. For generations, the story has been one of survival, right? That you have to leave home to make it. This movement, it wants to tear up that old script and replace it with a new one. A story about pride, about potential, and about believing in yourself.
And this last quote, I think, just captures the whole thing perfectly. He's not asking people in Bihar to vote for him. He's asking them to believe in themselves. By taking himself out of the running for office, he shifts the entire focus. The hero of this story isn't Prashant Kishor. The hero is supposed to be the people. It's a call to action for them to take back their power.
So, where does that leave us? Well, with a huge question. Is what we're watching the future of democracy? A revolutionary new model that puts moral authority and people power first? Or is it a noble, beautiful, but ultimately doomed experiment that just can't compete with old-school power politics? Honestly, nobody knows the answer yet. But the experiment itself, that might just be redefining the whole game.